Using Word effectively. Word 10, Pagination controls.
Something that I find people struggle with a lot is pagination. That means taking control of your document and where the page breaks are going to fall, and especially if they're making last-minute edits to a document, making sure that it doesn't have a huge impact on the end product. There are lots of ways of controlling pagination, and I'm going to cover some of them with this particular task. So, for example, looking down this document, I have a new chapter and I might want that new chapter to start a new page. I can click at the beginning of it and use Control Enter to insert a page break. That's one way of starting a new page. It's not necessarily the best way though. If I know that I definitely want that new chapter to start a new page, I'm far better using one of the pagination controls within the paragraph dialog box. Now, there are two ways to get to the paragraph dialog box. When you're clicked in the paragraph that you want to impact, you can either use the diagonal arrow, which will take you through to the paragraph dialog box, or you can right-click in that text and there will be a paragraph option on the shortcut menu. Either method works. A lot of people are familiar with the indents and spacing tab that we're looking at here, but there is also a second tab that's called line and page breaks. Now, with line and page breaks, widow and orphan control is always on, and that's the command that will never allow a solitary line of a paragraph to be left on its own at the bottom or at the top of a page. So you'll see that Word always keeps at least two lines together. That is on by default, although of course you can switch it off. But the other three are really useful pagination controls. If you know you want to start a new page, you can click on page break before. And if I click on OK, that automatically moves new chapter to a new page. One of the things that you will have heard me say in other videos is that you must have your show hide button switched on or show all button switched on. If you don't have that on, you can't see any indicator that you have a pagination control there. If it is on and you have one of those pagination controls switched on, you'll see a little black square to the left of the paragraph. So you know to go and look in the paragraph dialog box and see which one's switched on. It won't show for widow and orphan control, but it will show for any of the other three. So that's how you get that to start a new page. Now I'm just going to switch that off again for the moment, and you'll see that gap instantly closes up again. And use another example that here we've got a table title followed by a table. So quite often I see documents, particularly from lawyers, for example, where they have a heading at the bottom of one page and the text that's meant to go with it on the following page. What you need to do here is to select that paragraph and use keep with next. It means keep this paragraph with the next one as a pagination control, and that will automatically keep it with the next paragraph. Now this is slightly dangerous because the next paragraph is actually a blank paragraph. And if spacing changed slightly, so possibly if I removed a line from here, it won't solve that problem for me. So I should also have applied the same thing to this paragraph and in fact all the rows of the table apart from the last one if I want to hold the whole table together. So by going to paragraph and using keep with next, it will hold that block together. It will not allow it to split across two pages anywhere. Even if I take a whole chunk of text out here, it won't move up because there's not enough space to move it and keep it all together. So the thing to remember with any headings really is that you apply those pagination controls. So if it's a new chapter, as I said, if it's going to start a new page, you're going to use page break before to start that new page. For these headings, because they've got blank paragraph marks underneath them, I would select all four and then use keep with next. If it happens to fall in the middle of a page, it will have no impact. But if I were to insert a lot of text in this gap between new chapter and heading, and it happened to fall at the bottom of the page, it will hold those four lines with the next paragraph. For example, if you want to keep bullet points on one page, if you select the bullet points, select 1, 2 and 3, and again use keep with next, that will hold those all together with bullet point 4 and it won't allow a page break to come between those two. Quite often you have lead-in text, so this paragraph might lead into the bullets, in which case you would quite likely want to keep them with the next as well to make sure that it makes some sense. Another option that is also available is the option of keeping lines together. For example, this paragraph is splitting across 2 pages. If I click anywhere in that paragraph and I use the option keep lines together, that won't allow it to split across pages. I've then got the added problem that my title is left at the bottom of one page and the paragraph that's meant to be with it is at the top of the next page. So by coming back to this paragraph, I can go and use keep with next, and that will hold those together. If you get into the habit of applying keep with next to all of your headings, all of your subheadings throughout your document, you will find that it will save you a lot of time when it comes to the editing stage. You're never going to have the point where this heading might be at the bottom of one page and the text that accompanies it might be at the top of the next. So try and use keep with next on all of your headings throughout your document.